One of my biggest flaws is my complete inability to stick to just one thing. While normal people focus on mastering their chosen profession and becoming true expert in their niche, I spent my life scratching the surface of a ton of different, completely unrelated things. Which brings me to where I am right now. A low-voltage engineer who narrates audiobooks on the side, defying all logic by getting hired as a stage director for an annual interior design conference. This is only the third event like this in my entire life. It's my first time working in this venue, and I still have absolutely no clue what exact tasks fall on my shoulders and what the contractors are handling. Since my YouTube channel is basically a blank slate right now, which means every single like and comment is worth its weight in gold, by the way, I have zero fear of experimenting with the format. If I don't explain things, nobody will have a clue what's going on in the frame or why. So instead of silent POV video, you'll just have to suffer through my terrible Russian accent. So where were we? Back in the 18th century, invited by Empress Catherine the Great to decorate the Marble Palace in St. Petersburg, Antonio and Giuseppe Bernasconi arrived in the Russian capital. And they stayed for good. Fast forward almost 300 years, and a business center called Matrix was built near Moscow, designed by their descendant Boris Bernasconi. His inspiration was the traditional Russian nesting doll, the Matryoshka. Gazing upon the elegant rounded curves of the Matryoshka, Bernasconi designed a building that looks like this. Alright, to be fair, the nesting doll is hidden inside, but today I'm walking in a ziggurat, folks. Here at the entrance we have a regular door, but since it's pretty massive, they decided to motorize it, so you can open it with a button. But because of that motor, it's now even harder to open it by hand. Pure genius. Meet my brother. Last night, blissfully unaware, he dropped by my place to hang out for the evening. As a result, I roped him into running the screen in a seminar room. Needless to say, this is his very first event like this, and he still absolutely no idea how anything here is supposed to work. And this is my workspace for the next 3 days. A hall with a transforming floor and a ceiling high enough to fit the architect's ego. Legend has it that at the very top of the spiral ramp there lives a virile construction worker. He eyeballed the route down and decided he wasn't too cold up there anyway. So looks like this thingy controls the lights, this thingy runs the sound. And that's pretty much it for now. A little while later the contractors show up, the ones who are supposed to bring all the lighting, sound and video gear, and actually run the whole thing. Naturally, nobody bothered to loop me in on their talks with the event organizers. So now you get to watch the stage director try to figure out who is doing what and what equipment we actually have. Meanwhile, the screw is hanging out the projector screens. Since the room is round, they're planning on 2. Normally they rig 3, but they decided to save a buck on one. I have to say though, it turned out to be totally justified. You could see perfectly from every seat in the house. The sound guy and the video tech showed up, and together we're trying to figure out our workflow for the next 3 days. After half an hour of debating, here is the verdict. I sit behind 3 laptops and a mixing console, and I'm in charge of number 1. running the speaker presentations. Number 2, hitting the music cues at the exact right moments. And number 3, pushing the audience questions to the screen. More on that last one later. For now, we're testing the visuals with the intro video, the one with my voiceover, which runs through a countdown and transitions straight into the host walk-on music.
А так, интересу ради, можешь на громкость выйти?
Через знания, через опыт, через людей рядом.
Ну и глушим здесь, короче. Чё? Пафосно? Отлично.
Meanwhile, my brother, still totally clueless about what he got himself into and who our audience actually is, naively wonders if the crowd will take all this over-the-top drama with a straight face. Poor guy hasn't even heard the speaker's presentations yet.
Просто не с компа, с флешки. Я его дома тестил. Давай отрубимся, посмотрим.
At some point they asked me to throw something on the screen to test the picture and the sound. And, well, I wouldn't be me if I didn't.
Ой, извини. Да, сюда, посередине.
While the tech guys are tuning and calibrating everything that needs to be tuned and calibrated, let's take a stroll past the half-built partner booths to the seminar room, just to show my brother his new workstation. On the floor. We were told the furniture is arriving later. But knowing the sheer potential of screw-ups at this event, I wouldn't be surprised if Vanya spends the next 3 days sitting in a corner with his laptop, propping up the wall with his back. Just kidding, of course, but hey, stuff happens. After cycling through a few options, we landed on this setup. My brother's personal laptop runs OBS Studio, the free broadcasting software used by pretty much every streamer on the planet. Using a capture card, OBS pulls the screen feed from a second laptop, which handles the actual presentations. Whenever we need to switch presentations, Vanya cuts a holding slide in OBS, a banner with the conference and sponsor logos. Then he loads up the next presentation on the second laptop and cuts the video feed back to the screen. I hope that made sense. Actually, I think that's the exact process we're testing on the video right now. While we were fiddling around in that room, the techs out in the main hall had already reconfigured the floor, turning it into a sort of amphitheater. And they'd already started setting up the seats, pulling them out of some mysterious depths. Meanwhile, I realized that one sad little table wasn't going to cut it for 3 laptops and a mixing console, since the video server took up all the rest of the space. Luckily, I've been keeping a folding table in my car lately. It fits perfectly on the right, and I can just toss the music cue laptop on it. Since I'm a massive overthinker, I'm terrified of accidentally pushing the tables over the edge and dropping them onto some innocent designer below. So I'm securing the legs with gaffer tape as the best I can. Spoiler alert, that was completely unnecessary.
Вань, пилота возьмешь отсюда?
Андрюх, где заказчик? Какие корпоративные цели?
While I'm staring like a deer in headlights at the mixing board they handed me, the lighted guy asked for the event's brand colors and started working his magic, turning a grey hall into a seriously stylish venue.
Да, да.
As always, right on cue, they just brought me the partners' promos, which I need to stitch into one video today, so we can play them on the screen during tomorrow's breaks. Lucky for me, I started a YouTube channel and have DaVinci Resolve already installed on my laptop. It looks like I'll even have enough time for a 4K render. By the way, so that's where the audience seats come from. Neat. And what's with the easels here? The one more thing we need to wrap up today. A classic staple of this event is the massive foam letters that spell out Design Conference 2020 current year. Normally, they just place them on the stage at the slight angle, and the speakers walk around in front of them. But this year, our stage is so small and, round, that the only place to put them is the parapet above the stage, at the start of the spiral.
Третий на спираль как попасть?
На третий, а это на спираль.
Мы их вывешиваем.
Трансформация дизайн. Трансформация дизайн.
Господи, и бросаем их вот как экран закончится.
Мольберты можете тут ставить.
Вывешивать.
I came prepared with highly specialized professional tools for hanging foam letters on round hall parapets, catfish fishing line, document binding thread, and wood screws. I even 3D printed some custom brackets beforehand to tie all this to, but I messed up the measurements and they didn't fit. So now we have to improvise. So while they rig the frame for the aerial acrobats down below, don't even ask, my brother and I spent over 2 hours trying to hang these letters even remotely straight, all while consulting with the design curator. Svetlana, the boss, the host, and the organizer of this whole thing, has arrived at the venue. I need to explain to her how my program for pulling audience questions to the screen works. I'll explain it to you too. The audience scans a QR code on the screen and drops into a special Telegram chat, which, by the way, our government so successfully blocked. Yeah, right. There they can ask the speaker a question. Svetlana picks the good ones and forwards them to a Telegram bot I created. The server on my laptop pulls all the forwarded questions from the bot and displays them on a web page, complete with nicknames and user pics. And you can clear everything with a single button in the bot too. I vibe coded all of this in a couple of hours, but I still had to mess around with the split tunneling for my VPN connection, without which absolutely nothing works in our country anymore.
Вы его пересылаете в прямом эфире, и он оказывается тут. Единственное, по 4 штуки на этот самый, соответственно, вот.
Ой, нам больше не надо, я сейчас сомневаюсь, что кто-то, у кого-то будет время на вопрос.
Ну, короче говоря, вот такая история.
Супер, идеально, гениально, красиво.
Ну просто если...
Meanwhile, back in the seminar room, they finally delivered, oh my god, the furniture, along with the speakers and mics. So we hook everything up and run a quick sound
Дай
check.
микро и вруби музыку. Соотношение звука, не звука отстроим. Он очень слабый. Эй! Эй! Давай чуть потише. Давай чуть потише, чтобы никто не сорвал горло. Не настолько. Прям чуть-чуть. Эй!
At the same time, Karina, another partner in misery, is gathering and forwarding me tomorrow's speakers' presentations.
Ну,
Vanya, by the way,
поделись
still hasn't
опытом,
gotten
что
his
как.
holding slide or any presentations yet. Lol.
Где Анька и что у вас с вывеской? На каком верху?
Ну, 7 мольбертов почитай и найдешь.
Ага. Ну, это раз. Это два. Это мои инструменты надо убрать.
And this, ladies and gentlemen, is my wife finishing up some kind of art installation on the spiral, the point of which I still don't get. Maybe because I'm not a designer. After explaining to my sweetheart that she wired LED sign positive to positive, I hook it up right, pack up my tools, take one last look at the completely empty hall, and go join the others to rush the partners with their booth setups.
Это наша стандартная фотка. Мусорная куча. Мусорная фотка.
При наличии кулера вполне. А, такой вот лук.
Да мне подарили.
А?
Я же сплетни рассказала. Ну-ка. Блин, ну все, для-то лучше.
The last thing on the agenda today is a group photo.
Часть команды, часть корабля, сам говорил.
According to local superstition, if you actually bother to take a group pic on setup night, the conference will go off without a hitch.
Спасибо.
I don't know, I've never tested it myself, but it's a cute tradition. And on that note, setup day is officially a wrap. We can finally head home, only to come right back here after a clearly insufficient amount of sleep. Based on past experience, today is the day I'll be nervous wreck,
Ага.
especially during these next few hours. Before the show starts, while I'm raking my brains trying to remember if I forgot anything. I have no business in the lobby, so I heading straight to the control room to check all the presentations I got yesterday. Once, at a very last minute, someone brought me a PowerPoint with the 30 embedded videos. On top of that, there was a folder with 50 more vid clips. It looked like the speaker just dumped every single file from her phone without cleaning them up. I opened the file, and half the videos don't even play. There are 2 hours left, and I am digging through this pile of media, manually relinking every single file.
Ну,
And
к
guess
сожалению.
what? When I, sweaty but relieved, hand the flash drive to the video tech for a test run, It turns out that because of a different PowerPoint version, every single video is upside down, literally head over heels.
Что и нас имелось.
Just a minute before start, I close the fixed presentation, we send the feed to the screen, which means we can't touch everything anymore. And in runs the creator of this masterpiece, asking me to delete a few slides and swap out a couple of videos. What's my point? I'm scrutinizing every single file for surprises. So far it looks clean. But for some reason, that just makes me even more anxious. Meanwhile, the rest of the team trickles in.
Похеру.
The videographer, the photographer, the video tech, the lighting designer, and the sound guy. The photographer is buzzing around the lighting guy, figuring out the lighting scenes. The video tech is grumbling about the partner video rations and the frame rates. Like I am the one who shot them. I am double-checking the visuals and making sure the timer is feeding to the prompter.
Откуда нас
I
знает?
still
Та-
can't
таймер
shake the
управляется.
feeling that I missed something.
Ну, сейчас она там конвертится еще. Как только я скажу. Все, спасибо. Можно меня, в принципе, не закрывать. Так, а вот и ролик подъехал. Можем чуть.
Давай. Блин, Светлана ускакала. Ладно. Вот.
Так, я еще хотел, когда мы спикера зала оформим, чтобы там посмотреть, вот кого туда вывести.
Вот. И тут типа должно быть.
Да, да, я сделаю тебе сейчас
Ага.
свои.
Не-не-не.
Начинается с пространства. С возможностью менять форму.
Ау!
Я тебе и поморгать.
Прогоняем вступительный ролик, световик творит магию, выставляя свет на буквы, которые мы вчера вывесили.
Да, окей, мы там переходим... с
While
этого
we're
ролика на
running the
вступительный,
intro
типа, на
video,
спикера.
the lighting guy is working his magic, setting the lights on the letters we hung yesterday. The thing is, right behind them are massive speakers, and everyone who was here for the setup is hedging their bets and holding their breath, waiting to see if the whole sign crashes down for the blast of the bass.
Между идеей и продуктом, между дизайнером и производством, между тем, что было, и тем, что станет.
Speaking of the video, originally it was supposed to be an AI-generated sequence with my voiceover. And even though I handed in the audio a month ago, Svetlana ran out of time for that AI slop.
Вау!
So at the very last minute, I was asked to just find some visual filler for the track. I decided to go a little further.
Менее кривыми выглядят.
I downloaded some standard ink and water footage from free stocks and graded it in the event brand colors. Then I loaded our host's work on music into Suno and used it to create what you're hearing right now.
Добро пожаловать туда, где начинается следующий этап.
I really needed that heartbeat that runs through the whole track to smoothly transition into the opening. After some amateur mixing and mastering, I added a countdown for the extra drama, and the result is what you're watching and hearing right now. Охренеть. They actually look straighter now.
А там не
It
совсем,
never
там
ceases
щас,
to amaze me
Лена
what
идет,
kind of
и
miracles a
гибко
properly
на
set
ведущего.
lighting rig can work.
Соответственно, мы там, когда она пойдет на сцену, мы открываем баннер. Ну, вот как раз, ну там слышно будет. И баннер. Вот сейчас баннер. Ну, закинь слоем. Во. Ну, она вышла, начала говорить, ты ее глушишь, соответственно, потихоньку. Все,
While we still have time, let's head over to the second hall and see how things are going there. Keying the batteries in the mics, tune the sound and all that gap.
Их-то ты, может, и вырубал, а радиосистему, может, не... Я не знаю, может, поэтому.
Ты это свой взвинтил?
Раз, два, три.
Раз, два, три.
Эй! Эй! Ну, слушай ухом. Раз, два, три, четыре, пять, шесть, семь, восемь, девять, десять. Раз, два, три, четыре, пять, шесть, семь.
Усиливает либо высокий, либо низкий.
Да. Давай, заходи, если что.
Naturally, trying to find out the green room, I got нахрен lost. I don't know what this guy do. This is a soft furniture supplier. By the way, they store their products at one of the warehouses where I work. This is tile and porcelain stoneware, plumbing, some finishing materials. I went the wrong way. A woman with a lampshade on her head. Wonder what that's about. These guys sell power outlets. This, no idea. Home appliances, paints.
Так, не понял. Она не здесь? А где гримерка вообще у них? Не в курсе? Вот, да.
By the way, the speakers are here to play announcements like the program starts in 5 minutes, please proceed to the hall. Already voiced by me. Somehow I've unknowingly become the brand voice of this design conference, lol.
Топографический кретинизм. Вас тут пойди найди.
Слушай, он у меня ушло, и у тебя пришло.
Вот я давайте я вам поставлю.
Ну не, у меня...
I'm ironing out the last few details and heading back to the stage.
Таймер на пятнарик переставить. Не забудь.
Это только смуту наводит. Ну, это же самое главное.
Да, мы как-то пробовали по несколько раз двухминутку пускать.
И они начинали троить.
Народ чего? Вроде нормально же было.
It's 10:50. We're launching the partner promos.
Ну что, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Давай партнерки, поехали.
Мое утро в Провансе.
For me, this is essentially the moment of truth, because it's too late to change or clarify anything now.
Что там, все оставшиеся?
Здесь время.
And here is the rest of the presentations. Better late than never, I guess.
Трегубов.
Рассыпая хлеб.
There have been cases where a presentation was brought in just a minute before it had to go on screen.
Эти впечатления я забираю с собой.
The strangest thing is I've almost stopped being nervous. Either everything feels familiar after 3 years, or I somehow managed to get burnt out, but I feel much more calm this time around than I used to. I hope it's not for nothing.
С чего начинается дом? Конечно, с двери. А за дверью начинается все самое интересное.
Блять. Where did that sound come from? There was a telegram notification sound in the speakers. Did I forget to close something or not turn off the notifications? Or it's just in the video? It's the part of the story. Господи. I'm going to have a heart attack.
Добро пожаловать туда, где начинается следующий этап.
I'm not a fan of the fact that I can't see Svetlana. She's supposed to be on stage in a few seconds. Oh, there she is, at the opposite exit. I think.
Мне не нравится, что я их не вижу. Где? Давай, прикол, да.
Доброе утро, друзья! Доброе утро! Давайте все дружно занимаем места.
Таймер.
I'm asking the video tag to set the timer on the prompter to 15 minutes, just as it says in the script. I feel Svetlana's intense gaze fixed right on me. I quickly check the Telegram chat. The clicker. We forgot to give her the clicker for the slides. I'll have to step right into the spotlight, even though I hate doing that. And she's already introducing the next guest, while I am supposed to be at the control panel to fire up the music. Let's move.
Поприветствуем Ольгу Михееву, роскошную. Ольга, вы, как всегда, прекрасны. Также я приглашаю на эту сцену представителей компании ИЕК. Это новый для нас партнер. Выходите, пожалуйста, к нам. Александр, под ваши аплодисменты. Тоже пару слов о себе расскажите. Зачем вам дизайнеры, почему вы нас поддерживаете. И еще у нас есть представитель компании Акзонобель, Люксиум. Здесь ли вы? Да, нет. Да, и, конечно же, Екатерина, пожалуйста, тоже выходите. Я считаю, что конференция — это не только люди, хотя это, безусловно, так, не только спикеры, не только организаторы, но и те, кто хочет с вами работать, те, кто поддерживает нас и помогает.
I barely made it. By the way, for the music they gave me a freaking MacBook. No offense to Apple users, but I've been a Windows guy my whole life. I've touched Linux a couple of times from a safe distance, but I've never dealt Mac OS in my life. Where is the start button? Where is the Explorer? What do I even click? If this app closes, I won't have a clue what to do. Well, let's hope for the best. The first speaker wrapped up. So it's the moment to shine for my custom Python app for the Q&A. And while the questions are hanging on the screen, it's the perfect time to check who's up next and get their presentation ready in advance. The huge plus this year is that questions being asked right now can actually be thrown up on the screen. Svetlana is standing on the stage with her iPhone, moderating fresh questions from the audience in real time. And they pop up on the screen instantly. We could never do this before. I'm just patting myself on the back here, because Lord knows you won't get any praise from anyone else. And now I'll clear the list right from my smartphone. And here we go.
Спасибо большое. Друзья, Никита Зуб, ваши аплодисменты. Давайте ему подарок.
And from here on out, it's all on autopilot. The break just started, we put the promo videos on the screen, and I prepped and double-checked the next presentation. I pulled up the exact time on the iPad for the guys, so we hit our timing perfectly.
Эмоции. Именно они помогают мне создавать текстуры, способные оживить любую обстановку.
I'm gonna go check on Vanya. Meanwhile, his array is looking pretty packed. Seems like everything's under control here, so I'll go take a stroll. The break is over, and we need to herd the audience back into the hall. We're feeding the room's audio out to the lobby speakers and adding another voice announcement to the mix. Attention, is there a designer among the guests? Please take a seat in the hall immediately. When the standard announcements get stale, you have to come up with jokes like this. I'm a terrible comedian, but I am all we've got.
Понимаете, вы его смотрите, но вы должны это делать. Проще всего это делать в круге единомышленников.
Поблагодарим Кристину Мединскую. Кристин, вам подарки. Давайте я заберу у вас, освобожу вам руки. Подарок. Хорошего вечера, отдыхайте и встречаемся у пресс-холла внизу на первом этаже. Сейчас Кристину заберу.
Well, day one is over and the guests are off to load up on champagne. We'll keep the music running for a while and then we'll call it a day too. Oh, is it just me or did something in the room subtly change? Why the hell did you flip the whole room? Turns out people didn't enjoy taking photos with the toilet in the background, so everything had to be rearranged.
Ой, ебать. Ну ладно. Ой, ну да, тут еще окно помытое.
Да. Вот.
It's a shame cameras can't capture smells. The aroma of champagnes is so strong in here that after just a couple of deep whiffs, you shouldn't get behind the wheel. Well, by the next morning, the jitters give way to a sense of routine.
Ну, понимаешь, в чем штука?
I
Что,
turn the
ну, мне нужно
laptops,
сразу-
check the scripts, prep the presentations,
Я, к
and
сожалению,
chat with the team about
могу
random
вписать
stuff.
в аренду, я не знаю, что-нибудь.
The only slight concern is the musician act planned for tonight. 2 violinists and the aerialist are supposed to perform. And while there are no issues with the violinists, the organizers somehow managed to give the aerialist a wrong date. So right now she fully delivers she's only performing tomorrow.
Па-па-па.
I wonder how it'll all play out, but I am glad that the task is not on me.
Есть общий выход, ну, я имею в виду всей команды ардиалога.
And by the way, the violinists just showed up for soundcheck. I'm not sure YouTube will clear what they're playing, so I might have to prompt sooner for something super similar for you guys. Today we have a speaker with 5 videos in the presentation. One video didn't load onto the video server, so I have no other choice but to play it from the same laptop that's running the presentation. Thankfully, we have time to rehearse this moment, because it's crucial not to mess up the small details here. If the audience sees the cursor or, let's say, the player's window frame, I'll lose all respect for myself. But over in the small hall we have an issue with the mics. Because the speakers are placed too close to the presenter, the mic occasionally picks up its own sound. And we get terrible feedback. So we're going through options to avoid this.
Раз, два, три, ебучая, теперь пошла бочка. Плохо, так не должно быть.
No, that won't work.
Быть не должно.
But this will do. А дальше все уже настолько привычно, что я просто поставил камеру на таймлапс и изо всех сил пытаюсь не уснуть. And from here on everything is so routine, so I just...
И раз, два, три, раз, два, три, раз, два. Слушай, ну так лучше звучит, конечно. Потому что когда они разнесены, это была прям бочка-бочка. Я за него. Крюкова, спасибо.
And from here on everything is so routine, so I just put the camera on time-lapse and I am trying my hardest not to fall asleep. Maybe it has to do with the fact that I am someone who as far from interior design as possible, but lord, it all sounds so boring from the outside. But since people show up, listen and ask questions, I guess the problem is me. If I were working at some low-rise construction conference, I'd probably be sitting there with a notepad, taking notes. The video tech is completely buried in TikTok, and I have to warn him about switching the picture way in advance, just so he has time to remember who he is and where he even is. By the way, the aerialist did show up after all. So, even without a rehearsal, the final musical act should go exactly as planned. Or so I thought at the time. In the end, I basically had to wear the faders on the mixer down to dust, because the script called for a long awards ceremony and contest results. And that means constant volume adjustments. Svetlana is calling her entire team up to the stage for a final bow. I am busy at the console, Vanya didn't feel like going up, but the rest of them, there they are. Honestly, it really commands respect how such a small team could pull off such a massive event. It amazes me every single time.
Обратить ваше внимание на приятное завершение. И экраны тоже погасить. Да, Жень?
Да.
Мы же готовы?
We're ready, right? She asks, looking at us. I, being naive, show her that we're ready. And now I switch to the intro and wait for the violinists and the aerialists to come out.
Размьють. Слав. И где? Я извиняюсь.
And where are they? Блять.
Прошу прощения.
None of this was about me. They forgot to call them, блин. No, can you believe it? The intro, the lights, the audience, and they just plain forgot to let them know.
Где их черти носят? Интро идет, их ждем. Дамы, go for show, go for show.
А трек можно запускать, когда увидите, что она зацепилась, и встал, я вытянул. Наша.
А есть какой-нибудь жест, может быть?
We set up a queue with the error list for when to start.
Все понято. Прошу. Пойдемте, пойдемте, интро идет. Да, да, интро, все, на сцене ждем. Все, еще не я. Прошу прощения. Так.
I give the team a heads up about the queue.
Сядет в красивую позу на колено, значит все готово, и можно переходить на их минусовку.
And you just improvise.
Ладно. А вот хороший вопрос, что они... они радио включают. Отлично, эта хуйня как раз заканчивается, по-моему. Переходи.
Мне кажется, это очень красивое завершение, как символ нашей будущей трансформации. Еще раз аплодисменты нашим роскошным девочкам.
That's it. Officially, the conference is over. But unfortunately, only for the guests. I need to give the violins back their flash drive with the backing track, after waiting for them to finish their photoshoot. Then I have to let Svetlana know that the team's shift is over, after waiting for her to finish her photoshoot. And then, the strike, damn it. My absolute least favorite part.
Пульт от телека, да? Попиздохали. Понятно, сюда. А мелочевку, кликеры, батарейки куда положить? Это из практикума. А физически?
За это, блядь, не приходится пиздеть. Я сижу в сторонке, блядь, и как этот самый.
Ну это вообще моя стратегия по жизни. Знаешь, я когда в детстве смотрел Формулу-1, мимо прошел. Давай биту, Шурик.
The letters will be used next year, so we're lifting them carefully and trying not to damage them.
А ты их, короче, складывай вон там как-нибудь.
Мне для террористического акта внутри одной дизайн-конференции в следующем году. Надеюсь, что в следующем году я уже в это время буду работать другой. Салат есть надо. На скопление людей больше не смогу это самое. Неделю смотреть будет хуево.
Вань, это будет через год. Почему? Ну, если надо, то 9. А так это дизайнерская тумбочка. Чего, все? А, ну.
Давай, разберемся по факту. Все, давай.
Давай, спасибо тебе. Маме привет.
They told me I could keep the banners from the stands. And since I'm always short on something to cover boards or firewood from the rain at the dacha, I'm already armed with the cutters, ripping the free material off the frame.
А чё, компактненько.
At the end, I get demoted from the stage director to mover, just like the rest of the team.
Подождите, дайте сначала ширмы засунем. Они плоские.
So next, we haul all the gear to a rented storage space nearby. Thank God I'm not the one taking it all from storage to the office.
Давай пока так, что ли.
Seems like now is the perfect time for the segment where I beg for likes and comments. Seriously, on an empty channel, any activity is worth its weight in gold. Plus, I'd really love to get some feedback on the format. What's to keep and what's to drop. Should I keep trying to speak English myself, or should I try to find a good AI for the voiceover? Thank you so much for watching up to the very end. The next video is already being edited, so hopefully I'll see you soon. Спасибо. И до свидания.
Или как? Анька, разъезжаемся же?